Welcome, Elaine.
Well, thank you, Tina. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so delighted you could come on Knowledge for Wellness.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Great. And Dennis, always a
Tina.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Great.
Good to see you again.
Thank you so much. So we want to actually talk with Elaine briefly. And in your words, could you describe what the treatment was like?
Well, it actually was very interesting. The results with the first treatment actually surprised me quite a bit. I do realize that there are 10 treatments, so I didn't expect a whole lot after the first treatment, but I was quite surprised at the results.
Okay.
The treatment itself wasn't bad. It's different, so I know a few times I might have jumped a little bit. It doesn't hurt or anything. It's just a sensation I had never had before. So, thus the little bit of quirkiness to it. But afterwards, I was very surprised. The first thing I noticed, as one of the ARP Wave employees, Amanda, hi Amanda, she was taking me to my car, and it was about a 45-minute trip, and I noticed I could sit without discomfort, which was a real shock for me. Actually emotional too. Literally for decades, I haven't been able to sit for very long periods of time. I usually fidget quite a bit.
Sure.
And I didn't that whole trip, and I thought, oh my gosh, I mean, this really works.
That first session that you had actually proved to you right there that you could sit for a longer duration.
It did. And in addition, I had a townhome board of director meeting afterwards. I sat for 2.5 hours. Normally when I do that, the intensity on the scale of 1 to 10 is a 9. My pain is usually a 9. I mean, it was like a 3. I mean, that was almost like joy. I was surprised. And I am a doubting Thomas, so so I was surprised and, of course, welcomed the relief, too.
Okay. Could you mention what happened then during the session in your own words?
Sure. Basically, Dennis started me out just lying on, I call it the examining table. That might not be the proper terminology for it. And he did a few mechanical tests, so to speak.
Sure.
He had me raise my leg. He tapped my ankle a few times, and he was looking for resistance. And he can of course explain it a lot better than I can.
Sure.
But he wanted me to be able to resist his gently, trying to lower my leg. And I was shocked at how easily he could move my leg after just tapping my leg a few times. And he explained to me it was apparently because somewhere along the way my left ankle had been injured, and that's a weak point, I guess I'll say.
Yes, I saw him putting the actual tape around your left ankle, and then we saw dramatic difference after that as well.
Just a piece of tape, what, 8 inches long. He wrapped around, right above my ankle bone, and after that, I could resist. He, couldn't put my foot down, and I was surprised. I usually am not at a loss for words. I was. I'm usually quite chatty, but I didn't know what to say. I had never heard of anything like that before, and I've read up on a lot of things, studied some things, because I've lived with pain literally for 4 decades. I've had a lot of injuries, and I think they probably never fully healed, and that's part of the problem as well. But I had never heard of anything like that, and I thought, where has this been that I haven't heard of it?
Wow.
And then I watched your show one day, and lo and behold, there was Dennis, and he explained it, and then talked about the contest, and I thought, hey, this could be it.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Yeah, that's great. And you're already seeing improvement after your first treatment.
And with the rest of the treatment after he did the testing, so to speak, it's really pretty simple, so to speak, as far as being the person having it being performed on. It's pretty simple. He just puts these big pads, I'm sure attached to electrodes on you, and you just tell him how much. On a scale of 1 to 10, what the intensity is, and he goes from there. And basically, I think what he's looking for is, although the ankle may be the weak point, why is it? Where on your body does a lot of this stem from?
Sure.
And again, I could be wrong, but that's what I gathered from it. But it was interesting, and I can't believe after one session, I mean, I've seen results, and I can't wait for 2 through 10.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, Dennis, of course, we want to ask you, there are 2 points in the body that you mentioned during the treatment with Elaine, hers
Right.
being the ankle, another candidate was also around the hip area. So we'd like for you to elaborate on that.
Well, interesting. I mean, Elaine came in with back issues and neck issues and shoulder issues and all these different pain issues that everyone in the previous past has been working on the symptom of those problems.
Right.
We identified very quickly that the origin of her problem was coming from the ankle. And you say, well, how in the world can an ankle cause the back to bother you? It's real simple. All pain is basically a direct result of the body not being able to absorb force. There's 2 places in the human body where muscle doesn't go across the top of a joint. And one is in the tib fib, right down in here, in between the in the leg, and then the other one is in the sacrum and ilium. And what we identified is that when we would stress the ankle, she was not able to absorb force at all. So imagine a car without shock absorbers. That's exactly what was going on here. She wasn't able to absorb any of the shock coming into her body. So the shock is going to keep traveling up and up and up and up, and sooner or later it's going to get into the neck. But it's going to start at the knees, and it's going to go to the hips, and it's going to go to the back, then it's going to go to the shoulders. And all of those issues create a great deal of discomfort. So what we did is we identified that was the origin. And then we found out all the places that were damaged caused by that origin, and now we begin that process of working on that and fixing up that damage.
Well, and she's already seeing results after the first treatment. That's
And we
amazing.
expect that. I expect at least a 25% change in symptoms, whether it be range of motion or whether it be pain or a combination thereof. And if we don't, then we made a mistake.
Well, and so we look forward, because Knowledge for Wellness will be following you, Elaine. We'll follow you with your 5th treatment on Skype with Dennis, and we'll follow you with your 10th treatment here at the studio.
Hey, I look forward to it.
Okay, great. All right. Well,
Thank you.
thanks so much for coming on.
Well, thank you.
We'll look forward to a future with you.
Okay.
And Dennis?
Thank you.
For more information, please contact www.arpwave.com. And I look forward to having you view other shows of Knowledge for Wellness. And visit my website at www.knowledgeforwellness.com and let me know where you viewed my show. And the mission of Knowledge for Wellness is to inform viewers on health issues, to expose, educate, and make viewers aware, to enhance themselves and their loved ones for a better quality of life. And I hope we have provided you with more knowledge to benefit you and your loved ones. So until next time, be well and goodbye.
Over time you've healed so much in me, and I am living proof that although my darkest hour had come, your light could still shine through. And at times it's just enough to cast the shadow on the wall. Though I am grateful that you shine your light on me at all. Who am I that you would love me so gently? Who am I that you would recognize my name? Lord, who am I that you would speak to me so softly? Conversation with a love most high. Who am I? Well, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. And the more I sing that sweet old song, the more I understand that I do not comprehend this love that's coming from your hand. Who am I that you would love me so gently? Who am I that you would recognize my name? Lord, who am I that you would speak to me so softly? Conversation with a love